Action.
Leland, thank you for doing the tour. It's such a privilege. This is such an incredible band.
Yeah.
And to listen to you and Russ Kunkel and Jim Cox and James Hara and Jeff White and Luke Bull and our horn section and this great singers.
It's scary.
It's to listen to y'all, do what you do to my songs is such a thrill for me. I sit on the edge of my bed and make up those little rhymes,
Yeah.
and then they turn into something when you all get a hold of them.
Well, I keep thinking back every time to when we first got together in '88 over at Backstage, and the first song we did was "Here I Am," and I'm just going, I'm in for something unique. It's hello, and I'm going, wait a minute, come on, what's going on? And it was such an incredible experience, and to see it evolve over the years the way it has been just, it's so tremendous, and I was so glad that this summer worked out
Me
the
too.
way it did. I sometimes almost forget to play when I'm looking around the stage because there's so much talent on that stage that you kind of can almost space out into it. Just listen, when Jim's playing.
Well, exactly. Well, I actually do forget to do something. I got to get to listening, and I think I forget that I have to do something.
Yeah, Jim Cox to me is just evidence that aliens have fathered children on this planet, because there's no way this guy's an earthling.
His mind is incredible. Dean Parks sat in with us, came on board for the Austin City Limits taping, and so he played with us in Fort Worth this week, and then he stayed in Austin for those two live shows in Austin. And I called him this afternoon, and I told him, I love listening to you think, and that's what it is with all of you. There's just every choice you make is so thoughtful and so purposeful, and so inspiring. An idea or a riff will shoot across the stage and bounce around, like a pinball.
Everybody listens.
Yes.
And that's one of the things. There's so many times where you get in situations and people are kind of playing for themselves, and they're not thinking about, I already know what I'm going to kind of do bass-wise, but I want to bounce off of, Hera, or I want to bounce off of Dean or Jim or you or, whoever's doing something. Or when Brad, give me a break. He hits a little lick and you can just like grab it and kind of play.
Brad Lely, our alto player, is the professor of saxophone at the University of North Texas, and he's a bad man.
Amazing.
He's a bad man.
And Charles
Rose.
Charles is just pure entertainment.
He is, yes.
I worried every night. Like you meet Charles Rose, and then we all go, okay, it's going to happen. He's so adorable.
Well, the way, and it's it's so much more fun to play music when everyone is in the moment and feels the flexibility to improvise and feel the moment, because every night is different, every audience is different, every room is different, and the way a song feels, the way it hits us is different. And when I hear you in I've Been to Memphis, when the singers do their solo in that, and you play that funk groove, it's just so
It wanted space, because what they're doing is that, I'm trying to respond to each musician's interpretation of that moment, and it's fun rather than being static. Throw a little character and personality into each one of them.
Well, it makes each solo more distinctive. It makes them unique. And that's it's for me I'm just so grateful that you're willing to approach it that way. But to be in the moment, to be for the performance to be happening right then, for it to be a performance and not a reproduction of something is really important to me.
Well, people can stay home and listen to the records. Maybe if they have a turntable or anything. But
how do you do that?
I don't know. But the idea that when you come to a live concert, it should change. It should be a little something special every time you do it. And people have always said to me, like, when you've done a song a lot of times, like you've done, so many of these songs so many times, but I always think when I'm doing it that there's somebody hearing it for the first time
That's right.
in the audience, and that's who you play to. Rather than people saying, aren't you tired of playing? I'm never tired of it, because there's always a new nuance every night in it, and it keeps it exciting.
Well, that's a great way to look at it. I think to myself, if it weren't for the song, I might not be standing here. So I'm happy to play it.
Yeah, no, it's great.
It's, at the end of every tour, it's always bittersweet.
Yeah, very much.
Because we don't know how if it'll happen quite the same way again.
Yeah.
I hope. We've had some serious issues on this tour.
It's been a hard tour on that level.
Yeah, I mean we've had some actual illness and serious illness.
Yeah.
I'll be 65 this year, and I think about, well, how many more times will I get to do this?
Yeah.
And it just makes me appreciate every time we do get to do it that much more.
I mean, I'm heading on 76.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So,
unbelievable.
I mean, it's kind of weird. You get to this age, and all you think back was when you were a kid, and old grandpa over there in the corner kind of soiling himself and staring at you. And then you kind of go, holy crap. I mean, this is really, you don't know. But I mean, I think the saddest part of the whole tour for me was the excitement Jason felt when he finally got his bicycle, and it only lasted for a day, and then the bus broke down, and it sat under the bus for a month.
All their stuff was the one of the band buses was stranded in Omaha, Nebraska for a month. The bus company sent out a substitute bus, but all their stuff was on that stranded bus.
It's crazy.
That's right. Yeah.
But everybody's come through well, healthy.
Yes, yeah.
And just look forward. But it is, like you said, it's bittersweet doing these, because, especially on a longer tour like this, everybody becomes like family, even though they started that way, but it becomes much closer this way. And when you see this ending, it's a chapter.
Well, it is.
That's closing. And I'm going to miss everybody. I mean, I'm going to jump back into the frying pan and get home. And I look forward to seeing Maureen and the dogs and getting back. But on the other hand, I'm going to kind of every day think, one sound check. Where's the free food? It's that kind of thing. When do we get on the bus?
Well, it's true. And there's a certain, you get in shape when you're out doing a tour, and you have a chance. If you take a set of music, you really have a chance to turn, when you do it 5 and 6 nights a week, as we have.
Yeah.
I mean, it turns into a show.
Yeah.
And there's a certain rhythm to the whole thing that I always miss as well.
Yeah, it starts with our wake up. I mean, it really is. It's not just the show. I mean, it's the preparation, and then sound check, and all the little things that have evolved in this one. Every day we finish sound check, and then you're setting up your camera equipment to photograph the halls, and I think it's great. Watching these, watching the doors, make sure nobody comes walking in on a time lapse, and stuff. It's been really fun, and then the opportunity to document.
Well, your videos, you've done me a tremendous favor, because I've gotten so many great comments about your YouTube channel, Leland Sklar YouTube, and you're watching it right now. I've gotten so many great comments, and you're so generous, so conscientious to video absolutely every. I mean, I just can't imagine investing that kind of time and energy, and I just appreciate you doing it.
It's a joy for me, and it just makes me really hungry for the future. But I love you both, man. It's been,
I love you, Leland.
And such a joy.
Well, let's do it again.
We absolutely will.
Yeah, let's do it.
Absolutely.
Tell Maureen hi.
I will. Give April my best, and just hug those little kids. They are as cute as little buttons.
Sure. Well, they love you and watching you.
Yeah, it was so great watching her. I just go, boy, he's really bit off a lot.
There was Will had a figure from Harry Potter, and it was Dumbledore.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, look, it's Mr. Leland. And he said, that's not Mr. Leland, that's Dumbledore.
I'm glad somebody sees the difference. Everybody else calls me Dumbledore at this point.
That's not Mr. Leland.
Well, I'm going to go get some pizza now. It's the perks of the road. And it was so great seeing your mom.
Oh, thank you.
She looks great. Yeah,
thank you.
Treasure.
I'm so lucky to have her, and she's glad she's.
Enjoy every moment.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm going to get my